Howdy, my name is Dolly, and I love indie animation. It's so inspiring to see independent creators making their own stories and little worlds through one of my favorite artistic mediums. And recently, indie animation's newest darling, Knights of Guinevere, released its pilot. And oh my gosh, you guys, I was obsessed immediately. I have a soft spot for 2D animation, especially slightly creepy 2D animation. This show is perfect for me. This is Glitch Productions' newest show. Previous ones include The Amazing Digital Circus, Murder Drones, and The Gaslight District. And it has to be my favorite out of all of them so far by a long shot. I absolutely love the idea of different versions of Guinevere, and thought, how fun would it be to make my own version of Guinevere? But I'm also going to be designing an original character in the universe of KOG too. The first thing I wanted to do was get a good idea of the style and look of the characters, so I did a rough little animation of a head turn for the original Guinevere. This was mostly so I could figure out how her hair and face works, and so I could get a better understanding of the show's style. When looking at all of the other Guineveres, they're all themed after simple concepts. Mermaid, princess, ballerina, and Park Planet is very obviously supposed to be a commentary on Disney. So, what does Disney love to theme their princesses and sometimes theme parks around? Weddings! They sell wedding dress versions of Disney princess dolls in the park. You can have your wedding there. There's the iconic enchanted dress. And just the idea of a Disney fairy tale wedding is very popular. So, for our first Gwen, she is going to be wedding themed. In my mind, the first thing I knew was that I wanted Guinevere to have a huge dress. I looked at a lot of different animated women like Ponyo's mom, Tiana, Gazelle, and Ariel. And if you can believe it, Barbie was a big inspiration for her. There are so many bizarre but really pretty bride Barbies for some reason. Like, girl, these shoulder pads? She's taking off the flower girls on her way down. Guinevere is my favorite character so far. I know there's only been one episode, but I love all the scenes she's in so far, and she is animated so beautifully. So, I mean, can you really blame me? Other than her, I really do like Frankie and Andy, and I'm really interested in what happens next. I want more Frankie dream sequences, oh my gosh. I noticed that with most of the different Gwens, there's always something different with her hair. Like in one they're gears, jellyfish, and mouse ears. Since flowers are commonly associated with weddings, I went with a little rose. It hasn't fully bloomed yet, so she keeps her round silhouette the same, but maybe you could say it's like she hasn't bloomed yet in a character kind of way, and that she hasn't met the love of her life yet, or something. Woo! Whatever sounds coolest to you, that's definitely the reason. One of my favorite parts of Knights of Guinevere so far is the fact that it's kind of creepy. The Owl House, which was created by one of the co-creators of Knights of Gwen, was able to get pretty spooky, but here, they can do almost anything they want, and you can tell it's gonna get even creepier. To break up the huge amounts of blue and white in her design, all of the jewels are a bright red. This kind of ends up giving it the look of blood, and I really like that. The folds in her dress and her veil was definitely the most time-consuming part of this, especially since I haven't really drawn a big dress like this since that one Valentine and Mitzi drawing, which was a year ago. I need to draw more Valentine and Mitzi stuff bad. Then, for the finishing touches, I tried to make sure that there was a little bit of texture on the design, so it gave just a bit of that nostalgic Disney look, but not so textured that it looked like it was from the 50s. Cause I don't think Park Planet existed for that long. And here she is! Ah, I really love the way her veil turned out. If Wedding Gwen was a meet and greet character, would you go to meet her? I just realized Gwen is super tall, so this is like a mountain of ruffles. Maybe she'd scare kids. This one is more of a simpler doodle, but I did want to make a little concept for a fairy Guinevere. Think of like Tinkerbell and the Pixie Hollow fairies. Stay tuned for that video soon, by the way. Or like little Flabébés. And the Sugar Plum fairies in Fantasia. I imagine there's like tons of little fairy Gwens in the Park Planet's gardens. And they're probably really fun for little kids to play with. For some reason my mind thought of the Sky Dancers. Oh my god. In the arms of... Similar to how Guinevere makes sure kids are okay while in the park, I think the little Gwen fairies would act almost like little security cameras. They'd probably alert security if there were any disturbances by making a whole lot of noise. My mind thinks of the Kodama in Princess Mononoke, but with little pixie noises. I imagine these guys as little menaces. They would absolutely terrorize Frankie and Andy. I decided flower theming worked well for them, so I put little flowers in her hair instead of Gwen's usual star pattern. So she had a bit of a different color scheme than Wedding Gwen. I used a lot of yellows and really light purples. I really loved how Tinkerbell's glow would change in the original movie when she was mad. So I imagine these guys would turn red like Tink whenever they noticed something was off and would alert security. And here's the little fairy Gwen. This was just a smaller concept doodle, so it's not quite as detailed as Wedding Gwen, but I do really like the idea of them. Do they make little bell sounds like Tinkerbell, or do they have really high-pitched voices? Let me know which you think is better in the comments. So, next up is an original character who is not a Guinevere, but a person in the Knights of Guinevere universe. I really wanted to do this because I just really like the style of the humans in KOG, and since we don't get to see many of the city people and crownies, that's the people working at the park, I thought it'd be fun to design one. So the girl that we are going to make is going to be a crownie. Specifically, she works with the Guinevere androids inside the park. Usually in Disney World, there's like a handler who's with the mascot characters at all times in case something happens. They basically watch over the costume character. And this OC here is basically the handler for our wedding Guinevere. Because you cannot tell me they'd leave a huge Gwen robot unattended, especially after the incident. So, this is Beverly. I wouldn't say she's exactly a girl failure, but she's the type of person who does not like her job at Park Planet at all, but it is probably the easiest way to get a stable income in the Knights of Guinevere universe, so she just kinda lives with it. While I was thinking of her personality, I kept thinking about that "the people yearn for Shelley Duvall" post. She's definitely got a bit of Anya and Pomni personality to her. Her outfit is supposed to kind of match the Guinevere she's assigned to, but I still wanted her to stand out on her own, so I went with a warmer color palette. Did that color palette take a long time to figure out? Yes. I don't draw a lot of women with short hair, and there's not really any female characters in KOG with short hair so far, so that's definitely something I wanted to add to her design. Along with her matching Guinevere, stars are a big motif in the show's outfits. So she's got these big star earrings, necklace, and star heels? I don't know how stable those things are. I feel like outside of work she dresses more like this. Like, you obviously don't dress too fancy when the world looks like that. Unless you work at the park. Which might be another reason why the general population doesn't really like the crownies. You're in your post-apocalyptic gear, struggling for survival. And oh, here comes Beverly clocking out from her 9 to 5. They're just jealous of how well she pulls it off. While she hates being a crownie in almost every aspect of her job, she actually really loves her Guinevere. She absolutely talks with her in between meet and greets, and probably tells her about her life outside of the park. Gwen probably doesn't fully understand it, but she loves to listen. Aww, they're so cute! Realistically, if they were in the show, Beverly would end up being helpful to Frankie and Andy. She'd probably want nothing to do with them at first, but then she'd probably think about her Guinevere and how she'd probably do the same thing, and end up helping them. she'd probably repeat, "This is for the Guinevere android, not you." And here she is! I tried to kind of replicate the style of the show, so she's not quite as heavily rendered. But oh my gosh, I love her face! That sounds odd, but I really like her. And here she is with a little size comparison to her Guinevere. I'm telling you, I forgot how tall the Gwens were until I rewatched it. So that is all of my art for this video. Definitely let me know which Gwen concept was your favorite, and if you like Beverly. If you guys have Knights of Guinevere OCs, definitely tell me about them in the comments. I would love to hear about them. Personally, Wedding Gwen and Beverly are my favorites of the video. And of course, if you have any video suggestions, definitely let me know. I've got a Tinkerbell, Club Penguin, and Strawberry Shortcake video lined up. So, tell me if you're excited for that. And if you're new here, hi! Thank you so much for watching my video! I really like the Knights of Guinevere so far, so this video was a must. I promise I'll get back to the fairies soon, I promise. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye!